Hi, I'm Kimiko. I study biology at UBC and I'm in my third year, and currently I'm a co-op student at BC Cancer.
My name is Addy. I'm a fourth year neuroscience student in the cellular and molecular stream, and I'm currently a research assistant at the Sombrowski lab doing my 16 months of co-op there, doing dry lab research.
I wish I knew that you could follow up with interviews afterwards. So like, just if you never got like a rejection email, it's totally okay to just be like, hey, just wondering how I did, just wondering like if you have any tips for improvements as well. I really wish I knew that.
Before cold emailing profs, I kind of wish I knew that it's much better to take more time on like your emails to personalize them more than to send a bunch of rapid emails, like copy pasting emails. I think once I changed my emails to be more personalized, I got a lot more responses and it was a lot more efficient.
Yeah, when I first started doing my interviews in the job search, I would be really worried about just how much I was talking. And so to compensate for that, I like barely said anything during my interviews, which didn't give my interviewers a lot to work off of to know that if I was a good fit for the team or not. And so that was actually some feedback that I received, was that for me to talk more.
Like the biggest point is to like make it concise. Like these professors are like super busy. I talk to them, they say they get like 100 emails a week about research positions. So say that I'm interested in research in your lab, and then also a very brief part about your background, leave the rest to your CV, and then like make sure you include something that is specific to their lab to show that you read their papers or something like that. Otherwise it kind of just looks like you're copy and pasting a bunch of emails. So something very specific to their lab. So introduce yourself, something specific to their lab, like add your CV and add your transcript if your transcript is good. Yes, I got my first interview through cold emailing. The only times I've gotten other interviews is through other jobs that I already have. I sent my emails like simultaneously as I got interviews, but I think overall I've sent no more than like 12 or 15 emails. The second person I emailed after I started personalizing them got back to me.
5 to 10 during my job search. I was really bad about not applying to a ton, and I wish I had applied for more, because then at least I would have had more experience with different interview types and also just writing cover letters for different types of positions. But I was one of the lucky few in that I didn't need to apply for over 50.
I learned not to take it personally. I know now that a lot of these professors don't reply because they have like insane inboxes. So it's not personal. I'd say the one thing that maybe is personal is if you don't get any response at all. Like if you emailed like 20 people and none of them have even said, sorry, we're full, then that might be something on your part for the email. And so like I would take that personally and then start to edit my emails. And that's what I did. I say this because this happened to me. I was like, maybe the problem is me. And so I changed my emails and I got better responses.
I kind of just took a day to just be sad and sulk about it, and then next day, like, you still need to find a job at the end of the day, so you just move on from that, keep applying, move on, and take hopefully what you learned from that last application, applying that to your next one, and hopefully seeing better results.
The biggest thing is to show your passion. If you don't have any experience, the biggest like advantage you have is your passion. What I did is I talked about stuff I did in first year, like I did a case comp in first year that has nothing to do with the research, but it showed like my neuroscience passion. I also included like volunteer opportunities I did that they weren't even related to neuroscience. They just kind of showed that I was like involved in school and I was like committed to things. If you've worked retail jobs, I know like a lot of professors like those as well because they show that you're good at communicating, especially for clinical research positions. That helps. So really just show that you're passionate and you commit to things. You do not have to have research experience. I don't think any of my extracurriculars really helped me with my research position. They mainly helped me get to, I guess, network in a sense more. I was able to get a lot of references because these profs talk to each other and they help each other make these reference letters a lot. I'd say it's important to an extent. If you're applying to a lab, if you think your grades will help you, I would include a transcript, but I wouldn't worry about it so much. A lot of profs I know, again, say that they mainly hire based off of someone's passion for a lab. They don't really take GPA as their sole metric.
The way I discovered my research interests of just cell biology and bio 3D printing is going to the Science Undergrad Society networking event. And from there, it also helped me to determine which classes I wanted to take, which had more of a focus on my research interests. Yeah, for prepping for interviews, because I just wanted to be able to get as many questions as I could possibly get about that position and the job description itself. I really use ChatGPT a lot to just generate questions, and then from there, I would just spend a day or two before the interview just prepping, just talking to myself and just answering, being able to answer and have an answer in mind for all of those questions. It was definitely overkill because I think I prepped for 50 questions before each interview, which was a lot, but then it was good for just if I got questions that I wasn't expecting, I at least had some semblance of an answer prepared for that. I would also write up a bunch of questions that I had for the employer that might have come up while I was either looking at the job description or writing my cover letter, and just making sure that I had that for after the interview when they asked me if I had any questions for them, to show that I had an interest in this company. I only had one in-person interview, and the rest of my interviews happened over Zoom. If I had the chance for more in-person interviews, I would like to probably go scope out the area and the building first, just to know where I would be going. As my one in-person interview, I walked into the wrong door, and that was not a fun time. So don't do that.
So all the research interviews I've had haven't been typical interviews. They're mainly what do you want to do in the lab? Which projects are you interested in? I think it was a litmus test for my passions. The other big thing that they look for is lab fit. Just try and bring a good energy. You're going to be working with other people. So I know a big thing that they look for is that you actually personally fit well in the lab too. If you have an interview, make sure you know every project that they have. I would not walk into an interview saying that I'm interested in research, which is why I want to join your lab. You can't be interested in research in general. You have to be interested in the lab specific research. So make sure you read their lab page. They sometimes have projects there. Read their papers too. I'd say the biggest form of networking would be through when I'm in classes, I ask a lot of my questions in office hours as opposed to Piazza. I think that's helped me the most in terms of getting to know profs better. I asked one question in one office hour. He told me a few months later when I met him that he remembered that question. He offered me a reference letter for anything I wanted. For research, cover letters are if you're cold emailing, the email is the cover letter. I also applied to WorkLearns and I got research interviews through WorkLearns. I had a very structured cover letter, my interests in the lab, my past experience, and each time I listed experience, I would connect it back to something relevant for the lab I'm applying to, and I would make it very personal. Show them that you're a human, so don't sound like a robot. For this position and a few of my other positions as well, they mentioned how my resume stood out compared to the rest of the resumes, where I actually lead a game development team, and so that experience is very different for a biology student resume. And so I would recommend just having experiences on your resume and going to get more experiences if you don't already have those. So I'm in a neuroscience lab, the Simbrowski lab, and I do dry lab research. What that means is that I basically code all day. I do data analysis as opposed to wet lab, which is collecting data. My specific project, I'm working on epilepsy, and there's a surgery at VGH where they take a part of the brain out that causes the epilepsy. So we get these from real humans, we ship them over to the lab quickly. Someone in the lab slices these brain slices, and then I analyze them. I analyze them on my computer, basically seeing what gene expression changes there are in normal brains versus epilepsy brains in different brain areas. And I really like it. There's millions of different data points. It just feels like you're going into a treasure chest full of data, and it takes a lot of time and it's sometimes pretty frustrating, but when things do go right, it's very rewarding and you kind of feel like you are making some sort of difference to something that matters. So
currently I'm doing osteosarcoma research, which is bone cancer, and I really enjoy it because, for one, I really enjoy cell biology, and so being able to work with cells and being able to perform different experiments with bone cancer cells has been really interesting for me.
I presented twice in the United States at NIH and at Harvard, both poster presentations, and they have been really helpful in me getting connected to other researchers kind of all over the world. I've also presented in Canada at the Canadian Association of Neuroscience. I think this is one of the better networking opportunities. All of these conferences were something I was invited to. It's not something that you really ask for. My biggest piece of advice to getting involved in these conferences is to really think in the moment, what can I do today to make my research better? Yeah, it's definitely possible. I know a lot of people that have. I haven't gotten authorship. I'm currently on a paper that is in review. I'm in a dry lab, and in dry labs it's much quicker because you're working at the tail end of a project. This project has been going on since 2017. I was in middle school and it's still not published. It takes a very long time. And so like, don't be disheartened if it does take a long time. Don't focus so much on like these end goals, because at the end of the day, if that's what is making you satisfied and happy about your research, you won't be like happy every day.
The co-op program has been super helpful for me, as my coordinator has been super helpful with helping me practice for interview questions, with getting room bookings for when I'm doing online Zoom interviews. The co-op job board has a ton of different experiences and a ton of different opportunities, and I really enjoy going through that and just seeing what's out there. My favorite part of my current position is taking care of my little cells, because in the position that I'm at, it's a lot of cell culturing, which is passaging cells, freezing cells, thawing cells, and so I really enjoy just getting to like go in every day and check my cells, making sure that they're growing, make sure there's no contamination. It was definitely a really high learning curve in the beginning, but since I've been doing it every single day at work, it's become second nature to me, and I really enjoy it.
The biggest thing that helped me is making sure like to understand your passions, use that to guide what you kind of want to do in your research and later in life. Don't do something just because others are doing it. Do something because you really want to do it. I think that really helped me.
My advice is just good luck, keep trying, don't give up, because you will get a lot of rejections, you will be doing a lot of applications. And I got my position at like the last hour, end of December. Good luck, just keep applying, it's never too late. Just keep doing applications, keep doing interviews. Even if you don't land anything, you are still growing and you are still getting experience at the end of the day.